Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. Paulie Malignaggi open to fighting he'll do fucking none, the notorious Conor McGregor. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the notification gang, hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats. I've been going live a lot more. Make sure you guys follow when I go live. Hit the like button. Shout out to the Patreon family, just the PayPal channel donations. Y'all really holding it down. Now, Paulie Malignaggi, he did an interview with IFL TV. Shout out to them. Link is in the description in case you want to watch it verbatim. And I'm going to quote Paulie Malignaggi, give some quick thoughts. They were talking about, would you fight Conor McGregor? Now, obviously, the Mayweather-McGregor mega money fight is now over. We have an outcome. Floyd stopped him in the 10th. What are your thoughts? You guys have some bad blood there. Paulie Malignaggi said, fuck yeah, why not? That's the easiest money I can make. Are you kidding me? He's not very likable. I mean, listen, everything I said about him came true on Saturday. You can't edit this video. You can't edit this fight. Everything I said came true. I said early on he's going to get through it and he's going to give you confusing looks early on. Then when you start breaking him down, he's not the gutsiest guy. What's he do? He stops punching back. He goes into pockets of action where he doesn't throw back at all. He starts throwing less and less. He doesn't want to fight you when he's tired. And then finally at the end, he basically let himself get stopped. He started stumbling around like he was hurt all over the place. He wasn't that hurt. He was hurt, but he wasn't that hurt. So stop stumbling around. Why are you stumbling around for? He was looking for a way out of the fight at a certain point. He said after the fight, they should have let him finish the round. They should have let him finish. You cannot go a minute straight without punching and be assaulted for the whole minute straight and expect the ref not to stop the fight. He said, oh, I should have been allowed to go out on my back. Buddy, they'll let you go out on your back, throw a punch or two. The referee won't stop it. So that's Paulie Malignaggi's statements. I want to give my thoughts. I agree with Paulie, not in terms of, I think Paulie has some issue with Conor. He doesn't like how things were handled. They have bad blood. I can't say he has no guts because I think the fact, even though he's getting a fat paycheck, the fact that he came over and stepped outside of his comfort zone, put his name, his reputation, his brand on the line, even for the money, you know what I mean? That shows that he's willing to take some level of a risk, even if it's lucrative for him. You know what I mean? Because who knows? It could have been maybe even more embarrassing. What if he just got blown out in 2 rounds or something like that, like a lot of people thought? So, you know what I'm saying? I would say Conor has heart. When it comes to the trenches, I don't know. Maybe, I guess you can question his heart in those moments, like the Nate Diaz fight, the Floyd fight, when the going gets tough, maybe. But overall, I think Conor, I think he's a fighter. You know what I mean? He has heart. I'm not going to take that away from him. But I agree with some of the other stuff Paulie was saying in terms of the bottom line is this, and people wonder, like, when Broner lost to Maidana, very analogous to this, Conor, if you talk big shit, you gotta back it up. In this social media age, that's really what it boils down to. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to back it up. Like Floyd Mayweather, imagine if somebody was able to beat him. Luckily, he's retired now, so no one's gonna get that luxury. It doesn't look like, because he says he's serious about retirement. 50-0, did everything he needed to do, accomplished what he needed to, made $1 billion while he was in it. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if Floyd would have lost, though. All the shit he talks in certain fights, like Shane Mosley, he wearing a green suit. I'm money. You broke. Why you got the green? You know what I mean? You look like a leprechaun. He was doing all that. Don't worry, Shane Mosley. What if Shane Mosley would have ended him in that 2nd round? It would be over. Well, actually, he would have been a little bit safer because social media platforms weren't as big when he fought Mosley way back then. But hypothetically, let's say that Mosley fight happened this year and then Shane stopped him in the 2nd round. Floyd would be under intense scrutiny. He'd be the butt of all jokes. People would be making memes and voiceovers and all types of shit. And that's kind of what happened with Conor McGregor. He talked big shit. He says, I don't know, I think He said he'll end him within the first round, second if he's lucky, and he didn't even come close to stopping him in the first round. He hit him with some good shots, the uppercut namely. I really like that uppercut that he shot in the first round. Caught Floyd coming in too loosely, you know what I mean? But that's what happens, you know what I mean? You talk big shit, people are expecting you to cash it. Same thing with the Nate Diaz fight. Talk big shit. So that's that, you know what I mean? I agree with some of the stuff Paulie's saying. I mean, you got to give the thing I respect about Paulie. I don't always agree with Paulie, but again, there's no man or woman that I agree with 100% of the time, and it's a given. You know what I mean? There's certain people where I share more opinions in common than I do disagreement, and I would say Paulie's probably one of those guys. Like when he breaks down the fight game, it's not 100%. He picked Kell Brook to beat Errol Spence. I have the video, and I picked Errol Spence to beat Kell Brook. So you know what I mean? We don't always agree eye to eye, but I think he's a good boxing brain. Pause. And I would say a lot of times I agree with what he has to say, but what you have to give Paulie credit for is he speaks his mind through hell or come high water, whatever. He's going to speak. He's going to like all that shit with Pacquiao. He could have been, you know what I'm saying? Like he could have been one of the people in boxing that just everybody loves. But radical Pacquiao fans and Pacquiao fans, a lot of them don't like him because of his thoughts on Pacquiao. Like, oh, you can't prove it. You're a bum. Pacquiao will kill you. You know what I'm saying? And he spoke his mind though. You know what I mean? He doesn't believe Pacquiao was in the game fair. He believes he cheated. He was on something. And he brought that scrutiny upon himself by speaking his mind. And I to be honest, I respect people like that because like I'm the same way. Like, you know what I mean? Like what I even do on the channel, like I'm not out here name calling and stuff like that, but at the end of the day I speak my mind. I get my thoughts out, and somewhere along the line somebody might not like that because some people, it's not a cookie cutter world where everything's just perfect and you can't have criticism for certain things, you know what I mean? But it's just it is what it is. But I respect people who can go out on a limb and go against what's popular. Everybody at the time when Paulie a lot of times was bringing up Pacquiao, this was before he lost to Jeff Horn and stuff. Pacquiao was a huge star and he was saying this stuff. So anybody who's gonna go against popular opinion and be the minority and make themselves the minority to express their full thoughts, I could respect that. He did the same thing when he was in Conor McGregor's sparring training camp or whatever for this fight. He gave Conor credit for certain things. This is before he left, but he did some interviews and he said, I mean, he has cool power. Like, I'm not gonna stick my chin out and try to take, you know what I mean, Ricardo Mayorga this shit, but it's not oh my god power. And people criticize him. Oh, you're stupid, Eddie Alvarez, Jose Aldo, look what he did to them. But now in hindsight, it didn't look like as a boxer Conor McGregor has oh my god power. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference between UFC and MMA. And I told you guys this before. Listen to me once again. I mean, I hate repeating myself, but I will in case you missed that video or that live stream where I was talking about this. Conor McGregor, he kept saying how he's I'm from a more ruthless sport. All of that is great. You're from a more ruthless sport. I agree in terms of there's more ways to get you out of there. There's different things you have to prepare for. You get different weapons. So I agree in that sense. You know what I mean? Most people would probably say UFC is probably more brutal. You know what I mean? Like you see guys leaking and their shit busted and getting punched, hammer fisted while they're already knocked out. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, that's fine. You say it's a more ruthless sport. But this is the thing, and this is the thing I never understood what Conor McGregor was talking about, is you're from a more ruthless sport, but at the end of the day, some of that ruthless shit, some of those weapons that make it a more ruthless sport, you can't use because you signed up to box Floyd. You know what I'm saying? So all this Bruce Lee shit, and I know multiple styles of mixed martial arts and stuff, that doesn't matter when you can only use the boxing form because you're doing this under boxing rules. You're not using elbows and shin bones bouncing off the head. You're not doing that. So I never understood why he was even talking about that. You know what I mean? You have to become a boxer You know what I mean? And you have a certain period of time to do it. And what I try to tell you guys is this. Conor McGregor is a good stand-up fighter. He is in the UFC. He's a good stand-up fighter, good with striking. Same thing with Amanda Nunes. But the thing is, you put them in with actual boxers. Like I said with the Bruce Lee quote. Bruce Lee says, "I fear not the man who practices 10,000 kicks once, but the person who practices one kick 10,000 times." Because there's this thing called the jack of all trades but master of none, meaning you dabble in, like, let's say I'm a rapper, I'm a DJ, I'm an auto mechanic, I'm a singer, I cover boxing, I cover UFC, I cover football, etc. Right? The point being is I could do all of that, but that doesn't make me necessarily great at every single one of those avenues. Like, let's say I cover boxing, but my football knowledge is not as good as my boxing knowledge. You know what I mean? It's very hard to be so well-rounded in everything that you do. You know what I mean? There's some people, like, I would say Jamie Foxx is talented because he can sing. You know what I mean? He can make music. He does the stand-up comedy, and then he can act. You know what I mean? He plays the piano. So, you know what I mean? He's multifaceted. He can do different things, but it's hard to be super well-rounded in everything. You know what I mean? Especially if you didn't start at a young age. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of what it is. So going back to this whole, the Conor McGregor thing, is Conor's a good stand-up fighter. I think he's a good stand-up fighter in the UFC. But the thing is, he's battling against some people who may not have stand-up fighting, or just, like, you know what I mean, straight up and down fighting in their background. They might be a wrestler. So their game is they don't know what to do to get you onto the mat if you're way better than them with your strikes. They don't have head movement. They don't know what to do. And that's the biggest difference here. Just like Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes, she's vicious in the UFC. She's punching girls lights out. She's doing her thing. Bravo. But you put her in there with Ann Wolf, she'll get destroyed. I will put, even Ann Wolf that's in Wonder Woman, this age Ann Wolf would still destroy her. I really believe that. Ann Wolf would annihilate Amanda Nunes, and that's somebody who's at the top of their game. I mean, even look at Clarissa Shields versus Chris Cyborg sparring. It looked like, to me, this is just my opinion, and I know it's sparring, but it looked like Clarissa Shields was tagging Chris Cyborg. But Chris Cyborg is probably the most ruthless female in the sport. Put Chris Cyborg in there with Ann Wolf. It's not going to be pretty, and the reason is because, again, you can have success in the UFC with striking and stand-up because a lot of the other people might not be good at that at all. You know what I'm saying? Like let's say Mark Hunt versus Frank Mir or somebody. Mark Hunt got crazy cracks. He got crazy power. You know what I'm saying? So if he gets in there with Frank Mir, who's somewhat good at stand-up, you know what I mean? It might not be the same. He might not know how to evade certain shots, different things like that. So just two different worlds, basically. But you got to give credit to Paulie, because a lot of what he said would be true. He said when it comes to the trenches, he did you bring your bulls? He kept saying that. Did you bring your bulls, Conor? And that's what it looked like. It looked like he got gassed out. And as a fighter, you got to know what to do in those moments. You think Danny Garcia wasn't tired as fuck when he fought against Lamont Peterson? He almost got stopped. If you guys watched the fight, he almost got stopped. He was super tired. Lamont Peterson made him chase, made him swing, made him miss, which takes a lot of energy. And he's naturally slower. Peterson's always in dumbass conditioning, in good shape. So he turned it up on Danny Garcia in the second half. Danny Garcia was very tired in that fight. He almost got stopped because he was very tired. And Danny got a good ass chin. But Danny's from Philly. He's been boxing all his life. He knows how to bite down. Conor doesn't. So really two different worlds. As far as Paulie fighting McGregor, I don't know, because Paulie, I mean, I'm very real and transparent. I love Paulie, but he just lost his last fight to Sam Eggington. He got stopped by him. Conor, that showed up versus Floyd, I don't think he did horrible. You know what I'm saying? He did cool. He's very tricky and stuff like that. And I think I told you this before. Floyd has more power than Paulie, better defense, more technique, things like that. So you can't bank off of Floyd's success with him and say it's an easy win for Paulie, especially with Conor already having multiple rounds, 2 sparring sessions with Paulie. That's a different fight. He might not respect Paulie's craft or power the same way he did to Floyd Mayweather, stuff like that. Mayweather will stick you to the body and stuff like that. So, I mean, it could be a good fight. Conor McGregor might even beat Paulie Malignaggi. I don't know. I guess I'd have to see it to see. But looking at that sparring, Paulie was getting tagged with that left hand, and there's only so many left hands. Even if you do edit it, which is, we all agree that's bullshit. You know what I mean? You're editing and splicing clips, multiple angles, but still, if he wasn't getting off with that left hand, there would only be so many clips he could even make into a compilation to even show you getting tagged that much. So, you know what I mean? I do think the sparring was very competitive, and maybe it's because Paulie wasn't in the best shape, or he wasn't in fighting shape, and it took some time to get there or whatever. Maybe as the camp progressed, it would have been different. But on those first 2 sparring sessions, I probably believe that Conor was doing his thing. I don't know exactly what happened because I haven't seen it. It's just speculation, but that's my thoughts. Let me know, would you pay for something like that? Would you watch something like that? Paulie versus Conor. Conor definitely has options both in the UFC and boxing. But it would have to be a guy like Paulie Malignaggi, semi-retired or retired, whatever you want to call it, coming out of retirement. We all know now, or we should know, that Conor McGregor, although his stand-ups and his strikes are good in the UFC, it doesn't all the way correlate to boxing. And this is what I told you guys. You know what I mean? All that, oh, I'm from a more ruthless sport and I'm bigger. His skull is too small for me. That's some, like, remember when Predator on the movie? Ah, we need to get to the chopper, Dylan, you son of a bitch. Remember Predator when the alien he would just kill people and he'd be holding their skull, and he was just making that noise, holding their skull. That's some movie shit. His skull is too small. Like, come on, man. And I'm telling you, these guys, boxers, have been practicing their craft, the same techniques, pretty much the same drills. You know what I mean? They might give it the strength and conditioning coach that makes them do something a little bit different, but overall, the work is the same from age 6 to 36. You know what I mean? You're doing the same types of shit. Practicing turning your punches, jab, working on your defense, heavy bag, speed bag, jump rope, road work. You know what I mean? So it's hard for anybody to just pick it up because there's certain nuances you're not gonna know what to do. It's like when Conor got hurt and tired. Conor's used to five-minute rounds and maybe even some 5-minute 3-rounders, depending on if there's a title at stake. So it's gonna be hard to compete and go against somebody who's been boxing since age 6, 7, 8, who's perfected that one craft over and over and over again. There's just certain nuances, like when he got tired, he didn't know what to do. There's certain things, every boxer, unless you're on like EPO or PEDs, you'll probably get to a point in some fight where you're like, man, I have the flu, or I'm just naturally tired. You work the body or whatever. You know what I mean? Most people are gonna come to some point in a fight where they feel tired and they have to hold on until that second win. You don't think Floyd is not a machine? You don't think in 20 years he's ever had a single fight where he's been tired? You know what I mean? But you have to figure out how to do, like, take this round off and, you know what I mean, just jab and use your legs, bow, 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 not do too much. You have to know those things to not expend too much energy to the point where you can get that second win. Like, okay, I'm back now. You know what I mean? Conor doesn't know those things. You know, and I told you that, man, I feel like this, out of all my predictions, this was one of the easiest, and this is one of the most accurate, because a lot of what I said came true. Another thing I told you guys is Conor has a lot of early finishes, barring the Nate Diaz fights, a lot of early finishes. So he's not even used to going full 5-rounders in the UFC, which is a problem. Knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. That's short work. That's easy money. You know, bow. You know what I mean? You're already back in the locker room celebrating, right? Dennis Seaver and all them fights. Chad Mendez went 2. Nate Diaz is the only one that because he was the naturally of size, taller, you know what I mean, arguably bigger in terms of weight guy that Conor was fighting. Conor, when Nate Diaz was fighting him, he's like, you fought a bunch of midgets, stuff like that, you know what I mean. And when he fought somebody who was adequate size, who he wasn't way bigger than, look at, he went the distance both times. Oh, actually, he got stopped the first time and then went the distance the second time. So big difference. And he was tired in that Nate Diaz rematch. Let me know your thoughts. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Do you want to see a Paulie Malignaggi, Conor McGregor boxing event? Let me know who would win, what do you think happened in sparring, all that good stuff. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.